take a few minutes to honor an incredible woman. I'd like to tell you a little about my great-grandmother, Laura May Udovich, or May as she liked to be called. Some of my earliest memories are of my Gigi and I in the front seat of her Buick, singing hymns on the way to church with her big black Bible sitting in between us. I know that she was born on February 6th, 1906, in Pontiac, Illinois, to George and Millie Anderson. I know that she was the oldest of 5 girls. But I remember monarch butterflies named George that came back to see me year after year. I know that when she was in the 8th grade, she had to quit school to help support her family after her dad had an accident. I know that she married Clarence Adrian on January 7th, 1923, and they had 4 children, 2 sons, Richard and Leon, and 2 daughters, Phyllis and Carol. But I remember watching soap operas in the afternoons, Lawrence Welk at night, and bowling competitions on Saturdays. I know that a car accident when she was 45 left her with multiple life-threatening injuries after she was thrown from the back seat head first through the windshield into an embankment. She was the only one in the car who had not been drinking, and she was the only one who was injured. She was so badly hurt, the doctors didn't think that she would make it, so they did not give her any treatment for 8 days. She remembered hearing other patients on the ward whispering that she was going to die. Her jaw was broken in 7 places, and when they finally figured out that she was going to live, they put screws on either side of her head, and there was a rubber strap that went underneath her chin to hold her jaw in place. She could only drink liquids for almost a year. But I remember endless games of Yahtzee and her cheating when she thought that you weren't looking. I know that despite her limited education, she had a very colorful work history. She drove water truck for the road department. She also drove a school bus in Gilchrist. She retired from Cadillac Gauge, where she inspected parts that would be used in the aerospace program. After retiring, she also worked as a bookkeeper while also DJing for a local senior radio program. Her last job was as an assistant in the library at Peterson Elementary. They finally made her quit after she tripped and fell at work and hurt her shoulder. She was 85 years old. But I remember family reunion potlucks in her huge front yard. I know that she was a beacon for stray or injured animals. There was Coco, who slept in my mom's crib and lived to be 22 years old. There was the tabby that she let me name Samantha after the daughter on Bewitched. And then there was Sammy, who, when Gigi's house was full of smoke one night, he woke her up and she was able to prevent a fire. Sammy was then inducted into the Pet Hall of Fame for saving her life. But I remember making jelly and her ever-famous applesauce with her. I know that she was a little banty rooster who didn't back down from anything. But I remember her locking me out of her house when she wanted to give my kid a candy bar, and I said no. I know that she kept a burl branch behind her door. I also know that when 3 men were trying to break into her car one night, she used it to chase them off, all 4'11" of her, and in her nightgown to boot. But I remember curling up in her lap and playing with the loose skin on the back of her hands. I know she was the matriarch of our family. I know she was feisty, fearless, and faithful. I know she was independent, intelligent, and indestructible. But I remember peanut butter and banana toast, hot chocolate with those little marshmallows, Nutter Butter cookies, and instant oatmeal. I remember we always said she would outlive all of us because she was too afraid that she was going to miss out on something. And at 99 and a half, she really gave us a run for our money. I know that whenever I hear the old rugged cross, I'm back in the front seat of that Buick.